You know how when you board a plane to fly somewhere, you usually have to walk through first class at the beginning. And I'm always envious of those people who are sitting there in first class. Their seats are like big and comfortable, foot recliners which allow them to stretch out. They eat their food, their meals on real dishes, and are offered champagne. Then they're given a hot towel to refresh their faces. They have nice sized media screens, they can pull right in front of them. And as I'm looking at all of that, I'm aware that I have to proceed to row 56 back there, usually near the restrooms. And, my seat is small, and if I'm lucky, I'm sitting in between two people who are 3 times my size. So, the food is less than tasty. And anyway, I wish somebody would pull some strings for me sometime so I could sit in first class. And the gospel today is the mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee. She tries to pull some strings so that her boys can get the best seats in the kingdom of God. She wants her 2 sons to sit on either side of Jesus, seats of honor. And when the other apostles hear this, of course, they grow angry and jealous over her request on behalf of her boys. So the time is ripe for a lesson. The lesson is in humility. Jesus basically says, you want to be great in God's kingdom, you have to be willing to take the last cramped seat on the plane. There's no room for competition or jealousy in God's kingdom. Every one of us must be humble enough to admit that any seat in the kingdom of God will be a great gift from the Lord. I've heard some people say that there are different levels in heaven. Yeah, maybe these are the holy saints who we honor in our church who sit closest to Jesus. We don't really know. And we shouldn't be so concerned, because anybody who enters the kingdom of heaven will be blessed beyond belief. And it won't really matter if there are some who were special to Jesus who were closer to him. What matters is that we hope to be seated at the table of the banquet. And the best way to get a seat is through humility. The more we exalt ourselves, the more disappointed we will be. The more we practice humility, the greater the chances of us being welcomed to the table. As we move through Lent, we are invited really to take a good look at ourselves. Do we think that we are better or more deserving of salvation than other people? Do we pride ourselves on our good deeds? Do we look down on people who don't meet our standards of holiness? If so, Lent is the time to let go of these unhealthy attitudes and to acknowledge that all of us are sinners in need of God's mercy and forgiveness. If we do make it into the kingdom of heaven, it won't be because we are important in this life. It will be because we embraced humility. We were not so proud so as to think like John and James, who thought that they were more deserving. In the end, we should pray that all of God's people find a seat at the eternal banquet of heaven. No matter where we may be seated, if there are seats, we will still be at the same table with our brothers and sisters who will be just as blessed as we are.